was going to ask you about the Gathering event. So,
Yes.
when did that start? How did what gave you the idea for that?
Well, because other people were doing events as well. I mean, we said, our normal opening is just a normal opening, and we hadn't got the means or any way of doing like hot food all the time, and we couldn't have a license all the time because we have to book it in advance, and we have to sort of get this done and that done.
Okay.
So we said, well, why don't we just do like 2 or 3, 4 maybe events a year, where we have a bigger thing. We can put a marquee outside, or put whatever outside, even if it's a gazebo or something.
Yeah.
And we started doing them, and then once we moved to Leicester, when we said, and we had a few people turn up that were quite famous. I said, we can't call these like open days, because that's what we called them for a start, because that's what stuck. But you get to the point where you think, no, they're not open days, they're gatherings. And then the gathering side of things, sort of, again, legendary gathering, world famous legendary gathering. And then I always put a little asterisk next to it saying, not really world famous or legendary, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's getting there, because people know about it all around the world and say, oh, if I'm in the country, I'll come and see you, and on that day and things. So that's sort of how that came about. And obviously it raises more money for the museum on the day, because obviously we're selling hot food and the drinks and stuff. We don't make ridiculous amounts of money on it, but we make enough to sort of say, yeah, that was worth doing, And if it ever got to the point where it was just about money, I would pack it in. I would literally say that's enough, because at the end of the day, it's money is important, because we have to pay the rent, we have to pay the electricity. It's extortionate. We've got gas during the winter, and we've got the water rates. We don't pay actual business rates, but the day we sort of say, oh, we've made 30 grand this year, which we never have, believe me. We never made any. We've never made any money. We tick over. But the day that sort of starts happening, if we can put it back into the museum, we will do. But if we're making too much money, we just pack up. Because I'd do a KLF. I literally would do a KLF. I would say, screw it. I would.
Yeah, I think it's important to stay grounded.
Absolutely. And because people say, what, you've been going for 15 years, you've done really well. Well, you know why we've done well? Because we're not twats. We're not arseholes, and we've done it gradually. And if we could afford something, we'll do it. If we couldn't afford it, we wouldn't do it. And that's the philosophy, and that will always stay with the museum. I think that will, long after I've gone, I hope somebody can take it on that will sort of say, this is where the museum's roots started. Let's be the biggest in the UK, or let's be the biggest in the world, or let's be whatever. Or we can tick over as we are, but no, let's aim to be the biggest in the world. Why not?
Yeah.
If we can get there, we will.
You see it all the time, didn't you?
Yeah.
With businesses having all these big ideas and chucking money at things that they can't afford, and putting prices up, and then they fail.
And when you're taking money off people to do things, and then you don't do those things, or something goes a bit awry, or I think that's appalling. I wouldn't like to be associated with anything like that. It's one of the things where you think, no, it's not right, and it's very difficult. There's been months. I'll be honest with you. There's been months where, not recently, but certainly the last, since we've been in Leicester, there's times when you think, oh, we're going to pay the bills this month. How the hell are we going to pay? This quarter's rent, or are we going to pay the electric bill? And again, I've had to put my hand in my pocket, and some of the other committee members and volunteers have done the same, and people have helped us out over the years, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, quite recently we've not had anything like that, thank God. But yeah, there's been times when it's been closed.
Well, that's it. I mean, everybody's feeling the pinch, but to run a house, family, full-time jobs, and then a side project that is also you've got to be paid for as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be tough. Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, very much so, mate. Very much so.